You've got questions about homeschooling high school, and today I've got answers. Welcome. I am Tricia. I am a homeschooling mom to 3 kids. We are military, currently stationed in North Carolina, and we are finishing our 11th year of homeschool. So, do the math. That puts my daughter, my oldest, at finishing 10th grade this year. And I love to bring you guys along as we experience things and experience high school. And so today I just want to answer the questions that you have asked and kind of share some of our experiences and my thoughts about homeschooling high school. One of the questions that Leslie asked was how you determine what is worthy of being recognized as high school level work. Any good resources for this? I think this was a great question to start out with. First of all, my favorite resource for anything high school paperworky requirements is Levine's The Home Scholar. I will leave her link as well as the other information I'm listing down below. She is fantastic. She's very thorough and very gives you all the facts. But what I really like her about her is that when you are done with one of her free webinars or reading one of her books, you feel like, yes, this is actually accomplishable. I can do it. And it feels really empowering, which is something I really love. She has a whole series of books called the Coffee Cup series, I think is the name of it. Coffee Break series. And they're all supposed to be designed, they're pretty short, supposed to be designed to be read in about an hour. I've reviewed a couple of those. If you are a Kindle Unlimited member, she has all of them up over on Kindle Unlimited for free. Anyway, so that's my first resource. Now, what counts as high school level work? Good question. For pure amount of work, the rough working guideline is about 120 to 180 hours of work. So for a full credit class, so for a full year of history or a full year of math. And then if you want to do a half credit, like an elective or like a 1 semester geography, of course, then you would just divide that in half. Some kids work slower than others, some work faster than others. So it seems like, well, you can't really make that work. Well, so that's part of why there's the range in there. And the other part is like, what I just think of is like, what should it take roughly to do it? And base it on that. So my daughter is a slower reader. So when I count her, like when I'm estimating how much time reading is, I don't go with what she should spend on. I go with like what more of an average speed type of thing, if that makes sense. But I do keep in mind that there's going to be lots of reading. Then I kind of, I want to say fudge, that makes it sound bad. I'm not. I just keep that in mind as I'm counting up the entire workload. Make sense? So that's that. Now, as far as what quality and what level you're working for, well, that's a good question. If you're using a high school level material, then I think it's going to kind of come naturally that you have high school level work and what should really count. And there are times when I'll say, no, redo it. Because I don't think it's up there as what I would expect of her. You know your child, and you know if they're giving you their best work. So I think a lot of it is just going to be personal judgment, which sounds ridiculous, but you know what? That's what we all do. And you know your child, and you know how you've homeschooled them this far. You've kind of known, like, if at 5th grade, if they were doing what you expected, well, then you're going to continue. You're going to still feel that way in 9th grade, 10th grade. Maybe you have a little more uncertainty, especially if you are preparing a child for some kind of post-high school education. But I really think that a lot of your gut is going to tell you, and then what resources you're using. Are you using resources that are quality, high school level work? And if so, fantastic. You really get to decide what is high school work. And that can feel kind of ambiguous, I know, but really trust yourself. I'm a big fan of that. Next question is math ideas for a non-mathy, no-nonsense type of child. I think this is good, and I had to kind of think about it because my daughter really enjoys math. So the first one I would suggest is one that I suggested in that video series last summer, and that is CTC math, which is an online math. Work at your own pace type of math. It's very kind of straightforward, very traditional type of math. Also, a really big fan of Lial's math. This is a math, it's an old math program. I mean, not old, anyway, we're not talking like 1950s. But I came across the idea on the Well-Trained Mind forums, which I think if you are homeschooling high school, you really need to be on there. It is the best place, I think, for good information about high school. I've looked at so many other Facebook groups and whatever. I love Well-Trained Mind forums. Anyway, that's where I came across this first. We used pre-algebra on our own with my daughter, and then we started doing an online math class that I also found through the Well-Trained Mind boards where they use this math. It is very good. She, before this, had done Math Mammoth in Singapore, and I really liked them. I think it set her up well for this. It's pretty traditional, similar to the way we learned math type of thing, but I think this one gives a better number sense. And they give different ways to work problems, but not in the way that a lot of people have problems with Common Core aligned curriculum, or some. Not so great Common Core curriculum. So I really think this is a great choice for math. The other thing I would suggest, though, if you want to outsource math, I absolutely love myhomeschoolmathclass.com. Mrs. Perkins is amazing. It's my daughter's third year with her, and sadly her last. And I will have no hesitation signing up my boys with her when the time comes. She's very reasonably priced. Live classes meet twice a week. She's available outside of class hours for email questions or whatever. She's really, really good. So if you want something computer-based, CTC. If you want something book-based, I would check out Lial's. And if you're looking for like a live class, I would check out Mrs. Perkins over at my homeschool math class. Let's see. Our family videos also asked about science ideas. And I kind of have to think about that. Okay, so my daughter took chemistry last year with our co-op and for 9th grade. This year for 10th grade, we did Miller and Levine's biology. This is a fantastic book. I am so pleased with it. You can also get a workbook with it. I should have mentioned. I got this from Amazon, used for under 15. I think I've bought a couple of them now and I forget. I think this one was under 10, and then her Algebra 2 was like 12 or 13. So I just got it from the Amazon used section. Same with this one. I got this one from Amazon used, and then the workbook was new. I really, really, really like this biology one. It's good quality. It's easy. It's well written. Easy to understand. Illustrations that actually make sense, etc. There's a good variety of different activities. Mix and match whatever you want to do with it. We did that for the core book, and then we ended up doing the lab through Well-Trained Mind Academy, and I've been pretty happy with that. So if you're looking for biology, I think that one would be a good one to check out. For math or for chemistry, for a non-mathy kid, I absolutely would recommend Guest Hollow's Kitchen in the Chemistry, which I've already done a video about. We did this in 8th grade because I knew she would need a math-based chemistry class. But if you have a child who doesn't, I think it's a fantastic program. I will direct you to the video for more information about it. There's a lot of reading, but we cut back a lot of it, but you can absolutely keep it all. There's videos, there's all kinds of different things to cook, recipes, and it's fantastic. I think, I can't say enough good things about it. It surprised me how much we ended up enjoying it. So I think those are all good suggestions. We've also used great courses to supplement for biology and chemistry. Khan Academy has really good biology and chemistry. I haven't looked, and I think physics too. I haven't looked through it enough to decide if it could really be a core or just a supplement. I'm not sure. I would be really tempted to use a combination of it and Great Courses Plus. Great Courses Plus just gives you access to all the great courses that are available on their site. They rotate some of them out. That's the only difference. I really like Khan Academy's science stuff. So I would check that out again. But again, I'm going to do a little more research and a little more thought and do some videos for different curriculum. And then she also wanted to know about driver's ed. First of all, my daughter's next week, we're going to get her permit. She finished the driving portion right before we went into quarantine lockdown, and then they moved the class to online Zoom. So she's done with that. So next week we go. I will be doing a video specifically about driver's ed for homeschoolers in North Carolina. But in North Carolina, we have the option to do it with a public school or through a private place. And we ended up going through private. I'll go into more in the video, but schedule-wise, it wasn't going to work out. But as it turns out, it was a good thing because the public school ones are canceled. So that's what we did. We went through Learn to Drive over in Benson. So there's that. And then, yes, our family videos check, and I will be doing one about driver's ed in North Carolina. And yes, we're stationed to brag. And then I got an email question asking about literature for high school and writing programs. We actually outsourced at our co-op her literature for last year and this year for a few reasons. One of them just because she thought she'd want to. Second of all, we have very different writing styles is the right word, but it comes differently. We approach it very differently, and it was causing some struggles, and I didn't want that. So we outsourced it for someone else who could just help her develop the skills of just getting it onto paper. And I am so glad that we did. They used a Seton homeschooling program that is no longer available. And that was our English and literature. We also added in Analytical Grammar, which I think is absolutely fantastic. We started this in 8th grade, and then I had her finish it in 9th grade. It's divided up into 3 seasons, so you're supposed to do it, you can do it over like 3 grades, or over 2 grades, 1 grade, however you want to do it. We spread it out over, we were supposed to spread it out over 2 years, but she didn't finish it last year, so she finished it at the beginning of this year. So I really like that for grammar. Now, as far as writing itself, other ideas, like I said, I don't think we're going to outsource it next year, so I'm trying to figure out how we'll put it together. What I want for her next year is to have some specific, she'll be junior, I want her to have some specific writing practice. So writing for the SAT and ACT. I don't know that she will need it, but I want her to have that exposure. Writing for college essay type of writing. Both of those are classes that Brave Writer offers. They're self-paced classes where you get feedback from the teacher or the writing coach. So I am looking at those. And then I don't know what. So I wanted to say that I don't have an answer for you right now, but stay tuned and I will definitely do a video with ideas for high school English. Because I just don't know. I haven't given it a whole lot of thought yet because I haven't had to. And then that ties right into our family videos. She had another question about English. I'm not sure of laws in your state, but here English is literature, grammar, writing, and it counts as 1 credit for all 3. How do you do this per week mixed with other classes? It's a good question. So, like I said, my daughter did English. She did the literature and the writing component outsourced. She did that every day, and their writing was based on a book. So she would read a book, and they would have usually a couple weeks to read the book, and then they would do writing with it, or after that. And then she'd have some questions sometimes for the writing, or for the book, that she would need to do as she was reading along. So in the month of December, our co-op doesn't meet. So while she would do the English, the literature, and the writing the rest of the year, in December, I had her do this reinforcement pack from Analytical Grammar. There's one with it. This was, this is the one I bought for her to do next year. Great American Authors. This year she did British literature through her co-op, so she had a British literature one. Anyway, Analytical Grammar is designed to be all the grammar you need. So I don't feel like it was something that needed to be done every day type of thing. So that's what we did. The rest of the year she did the reading and the writing, and then in December we just did some grammar refresher. Now this next year we are going to hit writing a little harder than the reading, because the past 2 years she's done a ton of reading. And so I want next year to focus a little more on refining her writing. She's gotten to be her writing over the past 2 years has improved so much. This next year I want to focus more on that. So what I'm thinking is that we will do like 6 weeks of writing, and then a couple weeks for reading. 6 weeks for writing, a couple weeks of reading. And then at some point in the year, I'll have her do another grammar reinforcer. So that's what I'm planning. If I were doing like Analytical Grammar is divided, like I said, divided up over 3 years. So they're like 10 weeks. Each one is 10 weeks, 8 weeks, and then I think one of them is 17 weeks. So if I were doing something more like this, I would probably do just grammar for whatever season is, 10 weeks or whatever. And then if you have a child who enjoys reading, I'd probably do grammar plus some reading each day. Or some free writing, some casual writing, like just writing prompts or things just to help them in more casual writing experiences. And then I would focus more heavily on writing and reading the following semester, kind of more like a high school or a college setup, whereas with with grammar being one. And I say that just because this grammar is supposed to take about 30 minutes a day, and it would definitely take my daughter 30 to 45 minutes each day. So it was heavy. That's why we didn't do much else during that time. So this video is going up on Wednesday. On Saturday, I will have the second part of the video. So if your question didn't get answered here, stay tuned. Make sure you get subscribed, and I will see you in the next video.